Well, good afternoon. How are my traveling campers doing this afternoon? Well, it's kind of nice out right now. There's good overcast. We may get some rain this evening. I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but we can definitely use some rain. Got my little cutting master here with me today. I'm going to use it to cut up stuff. I found this in an old toolbox years ago. These old cut masters made in New York. I'm gonna say this is probably from the 60s, maybe. It was rusted up, nasty, and I cleaned it up and added it to my collection. So it was a freebie. That's my kind of things are freebies. So we're going to use that today to do any cutting that we need to do. Okay. I made a meatloaf the last time I cooked supper. The first time I'd ever made it. I explained in my video. It didn't turn out as well as far as flavor as I thought it should. I've made a meatloaf, and it was okay. I mean, it was, you could eat it. I mean, it wasn't like something you throw away or anything, but it just didn't have the flavors that my meatloaf normally has. It had nothing to do with the Coleman oven. So I went back and I watched my video and I realized what I'd done. I had prepared my ingredients for a 1-pound meatloaf and ended up cooking a 2-pound meatloaf. So it didn't have all the flavors that I really like in a meatloaf. But it didn't get wasted. Matter of fact, next day we made sandwiches out of it as far as meatloaf sandwiches, and all I did was put it back on the skillet, fry it up, and I had sauteed me some onions and bell peppers, and I'd put on top of that and a piece of cheese and a little Miracle Whip on a toasted bun. Man, that was good. Now, that was good. See, I added a few more flavors, but I still had some of it left. So what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to make chili out of it. So for supper tonight, we're going to have chili, and it's kind of early in the day to actually eat supper, obviously, but it needs to simmer for a while and stuff. So what I'm going to do is cook it up and then let it simmer quite a while today. But we're going to taste it and see it and everything, but I won't be actually eating the entire meal right now because it's a little early in the day. But these meals that take a while, you kind of have to do a little bit early that need to set. And chili and soup and stuff like that really needs to simmer quite a while. You know, you make it in 30 minutes or so, it's okay. I mean, you could eat it, but the older it gets, the better it is. I like chili and soup, stuff like that, a day or two later after it's made. For some reason, it just gets more of its flavor and stuff. But anyway, we are going to put this together. So I'm going to get you where you can see what I'm doing, and we're going to go from there. So stand by. Yeah, it's kind of windy out here today. So I'm hoping this wind works with me. I don't know if it's going to or not. First of all, I'm going to, like I usual, I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my pan. Bacon. We're going to start off by frying us up some bacon. I normally put a little water in this, but I really going to try to do it without the water because I really want that pure grease from this bacon that I can get if I can. And we'll get this all laid out in here and going. I know one thing, it being a little bit cloudy like this little breeze sure does make it nice out here. You can sit out here most of the day when it's like this. But boy, in that 100-degree mess, you wasn't going to sit outside. You really wasn't going to cook outside as far as in the afternoon. You put bacon in your chili? I think it gives it a little bit more flavor. Now my wife doesn't. She and I cook chili and stuff just a little bit different. But boy, her chili is good. Don't you get me wrong. Her chili is good. But I'm a guy who likes to kind of experiment when I cook. I don't like just to take somebody's recipe and just, do it exactly the way they do it. Because you don't ever learn new flavors and stuff in your chilies and stuff like that. Same way with meatloafs and stuff like that. But you don't use the ingredients of a 1 pound meatloaf and a 2 pound meatloaf. I was able to, give it a little kick after I bit into it and realized I didn't put enough flavoring in it. You can add bell peppers and onions, stuff like that. It'll take just a few minutes to kind of flavor it up, but I sure did. It just didn't have the flavor I thought it was. I told y'all, if I cook something and it didn't turn out like I thought it should turn out, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm not going to tell you that everything is perfect when it's not. If it's delicious, I'm going to tell you it's delicious. But if it tastes like something a dog wouldn't eat, I'm going to tell you that too. Because like I said, I do like to experiment a little bit as I cook. But so far, I haven't ever cooked anything that I had to throw away. I was able to do something to salvage it. But hopefully that's the way it is every time, because I tell you what, this food and stuff is ridiculous. My wife always does the grocery shopping in our household. I bet you I don't grocery shop once a year. I can be honest with you, I can't remember the last time I actually went grocery shopping and bought a bill of groceries. Now, I've stopped by and pick up one item or whatever, but to buy a bill of groceries, I honestly can't remember how long it's been. She takes care of that. But I want you to know I went down there and got that 2 pounds of meat to make my meatloaf. Now, I did stop by and get that. Kind of like those golf cart batteries, guys. 2 pounds of hamburger meat was almost $16. That's that 80-20. I like to die. My wife knows how I am about pricing on stuff. So in our house, we don't even really discuss food prices and stuff. She kind of figured that out several years ago. She sent me after some cheese. Box of they'll be the cheese, but now I'll be the slice cheese. But anyway, some sort of cheese. On my way home from work, I stopped to get it for her. And the price that shocked me so bad I didn't even get it. I got home after. I said, "He's worth cheese." I said I couldn't buy it. She said, "What?" I said, "I'm not going to give that for a thing of cheese." I said, that is ridiculous. I said, "You can buy cheese other places a lot cheaper than that. Surely the good one." And from that point on, she pretty much took care of the buying of the groceries. This is cooking up, but it don't seem to me like it's cooking up as fast. And again, it's windy, of course, today. I got windshields going and everything like this. And I got the door of my Skoolie here open to kind of help block the wind. Because the wind is coming out of the pretty much northeast. So, but anyway, if I'd had some little water in there, I don't know, it may just be me. I've always cooked bacon, unless it's for something like this. I'm actually trying to hang on to some of the grease. It seems like it cooks. Notice I'm using my Coleman stove because I got that big tank. Those little old cans, uh, they're getting like everything else. They're getting a little pricey to me. Uh, Somebody told me there was one of my subscribers told me there was some type of tea I can get that I can hook up that other little old stove. I find them for these Coleman stuff, where you can run that up there, but I hadn't found any where you use little canisters like that, how I can hook that up. But I hadn't really spent a whole lot of time at it, to be honest with you, trying to find it. But I'm going to. I'm going to look it up. Well, I sure appreciate all the comments I'm getting and the ideas. I had someone asked me about my schoolie, about the insurance, stuff like that on there. I'm going to give you my opinion on how about going and getting insurance on a schoolie. Because I've had two different experiences. All right. Now you watch these YouTube videos and you talk to them people, they're going to, for some reason they make it like it's the simplest thing in the world to get insurance on a schoolie. Well, it depends on what you're calling a schoolie and what you've done to that. My first experience on getting insurance on a schoolie was, obviously I've got insurance on all my other vehicles. So the first one I built, I just added it to my insurance. No problem. They didn't even ask any questions. You just got kind of a commercial insurance, and they covered it. Well, within that first year, I had pretty much done to what I wanted to my schoolie, and got it in my head that RV insurance was cheaper than what I was paying on a schoolie, which it is. My RV insurance is in a quarter of what I pay on this schoolie. Okay, so I went and got my schoolie registered as a RV. Now I did all that before I called my insurance agent and asked her to find me insurance or add my schoolie as a RV. I was changing over as an RV, get my price on my new insurance, stuff like that. And I sent her the new VIN number because they changed the VIN number uh, on it once you become an RV. This is basically a van with a box on it. This little schoolie is one of them little short four-window school buses. Well, everything went well. She changed it over and all that. But when it came to renew my insurance, they canceled it. Changing that VIN from a school bus, or it's called a cutaway van is what it's actually called when you deal, where I'm at when you deal with insurance, to an RV was a nightmare. I couldn't get that thing insured. I asked online, I done everything. Everybody said, man, I get them insured, everything. I don't have a problem with it. Well, I did. And it's not that hard to get a school bus turned in to an RV, converted to an RV in my state. All you got to do is basically sign something that says you're using it for camping reasons and you're not going to carry more than 6 passengers. That's basically it. Which I wasn't going to carry more than 6 passengers. And that's what I was going to use it for, as a camping and park deal to take the grandkids and stuff like that, the kiddos to the park. So I didn't fib to them. That's exactly what I was going to use it for. That's what I was using it for. But my insurance lady called me when it come time to do it. She said, "Hey, I can't find one person who will insure you on that." She said, "I don't know what the deal is, but not one insurance company." And what it is, she sells for everybody. I mean, she's just an agent. She what she does is she puts you out there and she tries to find you the best insurance on anything. So I had to do away with that one. So this one, I registered it as a bus and I left it as a bus. Cutaway bands, what it's actually, like I said, cutaway bands. I didn't do anything to this thing that altered the safety features or anything else. I didn't cut anything out of this thing. I didn't cut any window posts, side posts. I didn't cut anything out of this. It's just like, and within a couple of 3 hours, I could basically turn this back into what it was. Because I didn't take anything away. So the safety features of the bus, cutaway band, whatever you want to call it, little short bus, is all still there. Only thing I did was I added insulation in the walls, floor, and ceiling. I boxed that end up there. I actually insulated from the outside, the roof. A lot of people laugh about that, but I can heat and cool this thing with nothing. But anyway, and that's been a couple of years ago or longer, and I have not had one issue with this. My insurance lady insured it as what I told her it was, a cutaway van. I wasn't going to alter it as far as cutting anything up. I wasn't going to raise the roof. I wasn't going to do nothing to it. All I was going to do is insulate it, fix it inside so I could sleep and eat, whatever I want to do while out camping. And that's the way I left it. So my advice to you young people and older people or whoever it is that's planning on building you a little schoolie, you do your homework on that insurance before you spend a whole lot of money. Don't just call your insurance company and say, hey, I bought this school bus. Will you insure it? Well, if you've already got insurance with them, 9 chances out of 10 they're going to say yes. But if you change that insurance to an RV or anything like that, or they realize that you did a lift on that thing, whatever, you could have a problem. And you want that problem before you go out and spend, hundreds and thousands of dollars. There's some of these young kids, I see them, older people too, they'll have $100,000 in one of these little things. I don't see how they do it, but they do it. From the videos I've seen. So do your homework. Don't listen to anybody like me or anybody else on these YouTube and stuff. You do your own homework. Man, that's your money that you're sticking into this thing. And if you're not going to be able to use it after you get done, that's going to hurt you, not only your heart, but your billfold. I've seen people I've read on there where they put messages on some of these channels where they couldn't get insurance and they had to sell their schoolie. Well, you're never, ever, ever going to get everything out of what you put in something like this. I love old trucks, like restoring them, stuff like that. No way in the world I could ever get out of a truck that was completely restored what I got in it. You're just not going to do it. Same way with one of these things right here, a camper or anything else. So whatever you choose that you got to get insurance on, you need to find out about everything about the insurance before you make your purchase if you can. Be honest with your insurance agent. Say, hey, I'm fixing to buy this bus and I'm going to turn it into a camper. Once I get done, I'm going to switch it over to an RV. Like I said, in some states, that's pretty simple. So other states, you got to jump through some hoops, but in some of the states, it's not that hard at all. So do your homework on that, guys. I'm serious. Do your homework. Golly. I've seen some of these little guys, they were so upset that they'd spend all that money and stuff and then find out that they couldn't use it. Oh, man. Guys, I'm going to add a little bit of sausage to it now. Can you believe that? I'm going to have bacon and sausage in this. Like I said, this is my own recipe. I've not seen anybody cook it like this right here. Now, I've seen these individually and stuff like that. I've seen people do over the years, but to do it like I'm doing it right here, this is my own recipe. So we're going to see how things turn out here. Oh, get back over here on my fire. The guy that does break my heart. See these young people, you know, it's kind of like when I said I was in the car business. Sold a couple of vehicles that I was told was in perfect shape. Couldn't find out it wasn't. They couldn't afford to buy that extended warranty and all that. These young kids are out there doing their best to put something together they can enjoy and live in, because some of these places, you know, I was looking one day, my home isn't very big of a home. It's around 1,900 square foot. But my home in some of these cities, you can pay $2 or $3 million for it. I didn't. I promise you, I didn't pay nowhere near that. Not even near the first million. Let's say it was well under 500,000. But anyway, well, but I done one of those deals that I get into when I'm talking. I've lost my train of thought, but I got right back on it. Here we go. We're starting it up. Old gray cell starting back in. You know, so these kids can't afford these homes like that. So they go this route here. They got them a community that they all get together and they'll have 50 or 60 lots of them, and they set up and that's where they live and they enjoy it. You know, they have a good time. You know. So I hate it when I find out that they've invested in something and lost all their money. That's pitiful. I'm going to try to dip all this out of here without making me a mess. Put it out here. All right. I'm going to shut that off for just a second. And we're going to chop us up some onions and bell peppers. And we're going to saute them in this oil here. Okay? Let me get you set up so you can see me. I'm going to look at that green light's on. Figured this out, I think. I went ahead and ordered me some more mics. But these little mics don't last an hour. And see, I had that hour when I put that meatloaf in there. And I left that mic going. What I did, time I went back to check on it, it had gone dead. So that was my boo-boo. So I'm going to try to, if y'all help me, to remember while I'm in the process of doing this kind of stuff, that every once in a while check on this. Y'all help me remember that? I'm going to chop us up some onion here. I know I wiped my hands messing with all that, but I'm going to do it again. Not my sister's going to be on me. Well, you handle that pork, and here you are, didn't wipe your hands again. So, in fact, I'm going to do it twice for her. Just in case. Okay. Oh, it's nice out here, guys. Whoo, is it nice out here. I can handle this right here. I'm telling you, I can handle this right here. Uh-oh, I almost made me a mess is what I did. I sure did. I almost made me a mess. Seen a young man pushing a mower. He's fixing to go trim around some of these shrubs and things. Kind of reminded me of a story I heard one time. This new preacher had moved into town, and he was out riding around on his bicycle. Come upon this young boy pushing a lawnmower out to the road with a for sale sign in his hand. He stopped, told the young man, he said, "You know what? See, you got that for sale." The young man said, "Yeah," says, "I'm wanting me a bicycle. And I've got two of these mowers. And I'm going to sell one, use the proceeds, and buy me a bicycle." Preacher said, "Well, you know, I'm new in town, and my yard is grown up like crazy where I've rented, and I need a mower." He said, "Why don't we do this? I'll trade you my bicycle for your mower." I'm going to relight this. And that way we both got what we need. The little boy thought about it for a second and said, "Well, I guess that'll work for me." And so they did. They traded. Well, few days later, the little boy's riding around the neighborhood on his bike, and he come across that preacher. That preacher out there was yanking on that cord trying to start that push mower. And he told the little boy, he said, "I think you got to me." He said, "This mower won't start." He said, "I've been pulling on it, just about out of breath, pulling on it." He said, I think you got to me." The little boy said, "No, I didn't get to you." He said, "You got to cuss that mower when you're pulling on it. It'll start. I promise you it'll start." The preacher looked at that little boy and he said, "Young man," he said, "I'm a preacher." He said, "I don't cuss." He said, "I hadn't cussed in years, ever since I became a preacher." He says, "Lord, I done forgot even what cuss words are. I wouldn't even know what one was." The little boy looked at him. He said, "Preacher," he said, "Tell you what, you keep pulling on that rope there." He said, "I promise you, you're going to learn." Yeah, you keep pulling on that there rope. You're going to learn. It's going to come back to you. Oh, man. But seeing that boy pushing that mower around this morning kind of brought that back to me. I'm going to get these in there and saute them up in that grease from that sausage, and may have to have just a little bit more oil. Okay. Now we're going to put this in there. Well, it's smelling good already. I can tell you all that. You can bet you bottom dollar on that. That is smelling good already. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil to that. Like I said, bacon and stuff don't really put out a lot of oil anymore. We're going to saute them. We're going to finish cutting up the rest of this right here and put it on there too. I ain't going to waste none of it. I don't waste if I can help it. That's one nice thing about a meatloaf. If you're camping and stuff like that and you cook one, I mean, you get several meals just like you do at home. Especially when the days, some of them are hot, you've already got something in the refrigerator in there. And all you got to do is warm up and you make you a sandwich out of it or, you know, whatever. Some people think it's too hot for chili. Let me tell you something. It's never too hot for chili to me or soup. I don't know where all that comes from. But I've heard that all my life. People say, well, it's way too hot to be eating chili, cooking chili. It ain't for me, guys. No. When you can, especially when you can go inside your rig in the air conditioner and sit and eat it, I don't know what in the world would be any different than eating in the winter months. So if you got some good chili you don't want to eat because it's too hot, you call this old fat boy in. He'll help you out right here. He will help you out. All right. Get all this here cooked up here. All right. Try to get some of them cook it up just enough to get them soft. I'm going to put a lid on that. Let that simmer a little bit. All right. Now, all right. Now then, I'm going to get my pot out. Remember me telling you when my wife showed you a pot that my wife gave me? And she said, I bet I could figure out something I could use it for. She's going to get rid of it. Well, we're fixing to use it today. Hold on just a second here. This one right here. That's what we're going to cook our chili in. A free pot right there. All right. Stir this a little bit more. Hope I don't mess something up here. Till it's been dry, I'm getting leaves. All right, set that right there. Now then, I've got all kinds of spices and stuff, and if you can see there how that's in there, I've already poured them all together because I didn't want to make the same mistake that I made before. And like I say, I don't measure stuff like you would probably try to measure it at home. I just kind of throw things together the way I like and see what it turns out. But with my memory issue, if I'm not careful, I'll make the same mistake I did with my meatloaf. So what I did, I set it in there and I took all my spices and things that I wanted in here, my chili powder, my oregano, everything I've mixed, salt and pepper, I mixed it all up in here, every bit of it. Now I'm going to shake it all together right in here, And you got to remember the meatloaf already had some seasoning. And I'm going to dump that right down in my sauteed onions and stuff. The wind don't blow it all away. But I'm going to start mixing that in. Just like that right there. Boy, that smells good just like that. That smells good just like that. Man. Does that smell good? Oh, that wind's picking up, ain't it? Yeah. That smells pretty good right there. All right. Yeah, that smells pretty good right there. Now then, I'm going to mix my sausage in there. Then I'm going to break up my bacon and put it in there. I'm going to pour the rest of that grease back in there. All right. I'll mix all that back up in there. Just like that right there. Yeah. See that? The wind's trying to mess with my camera a little bit. You're going to say, that guy's been drinking. When you watch it, it's the way that wind's picking up pretty good. Oh, you see that? Look good. All right. Now then, wet my hands. Now then, the fun starts here. What I'm fixing to do is I'm fixing to take this beef broth right here and I'm going to dump it in this pot. Now the wind got to us, didn't it? Boy, the wind's picking up out here. Yeah, I was hoping that wasn't going to happen, but it did. I may have to tie that down to something. Hope my camera probably got a little dirt on it. I'm going to pause it for a second. All right, I cleaned her up there a little bit. Yeah, that wind's getting kind of tough. I might ought to mount that to something. I'm going to turn this off for a second. And I'm going to sturdy up our camera. So hold on a second. The wind's really getting. All right, let's see here. I got that mounted maybe where the wind won't take it away. All right. You know, my wife packed me some of these. Packed me this right here from a chili. You know, I said I got everything in here. Whether it's buck or whatever, I've got everything in here. All the spices I need. I want to make up my own. You know, I don't want that. So I made up my own. All right, now then, I am going to take leftover meatloaf and I'm going to drop it down in here. I'm going to use this bag to put some of this trash and stuff in that I've used. And then I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to chop that up in here into small pieces. Almost looks like a soup. Alright. Now then, see if you can get a good look. You may not be able to get a very good look at that. I don't know. I hate to miss that camera. Anyway, I've chopped that all up in there. Now then, I am going to dump all of this in there. Look at that. Boy, don't that look good. Woo! Don't that look good. Then I'm going to mix all that up. Man, that smells good. Man, does that smell good. I'm going to pause this camera so I can move it so you can actually look down in this for a second. See if I can get you a halfway decent view here. That look good? We ain't done yet now. We ain't done yet. So hold on with me. We ain't done yet. I'll check my mic here. Still got a green. All right, now then, we are going to add a half a can of this tomato sauce. You know what? I think I'm gonna add the whole thing. I think I'm gonna add the whole thing. See, that's what I'm saying. I make up stuff as I go along. I make up stuff as I go along. Oh, that didn't cut all the way through, did it? I can't believe how windy it is. Yeah, we put that whole can in there. Well, one thing about it being windy, at least it feels good out here. Then I'm going to put a can of Rotel in there. Man, a lot of good stuff in this thing. Then I'm going to put a can of diced tomatoes. And then I got a can of these Bush Best mixed chili beans, kidney beans, and pinto beans. We're going to drop them off in there. Guys, I'm going to have enough chili to feed anybody else around here, looks like. Like I said, it's kind of hard to cook a good meal for just one person, unless you got a way to put it up. And I got a little freezer type thing, refrigerator. It's not going to go to waste. We're going to pour that in there. All right. Now, then we're going to try to get you another look at that before I put it over on the stove. Look at that. That look good? We'll mix all that up. Man, that right there is going to be delicious, I'm telling you. See, we've made 3 meals so far out of that meatloaf. I'm going to be having more than that because you ain't going to eat all this in one meal. So it's going to be more than that. All right, we're going to turn our stove back on here. Move this. Set this over here. We're going to turn our stove back on. Get my striker here. Now remember, everything in this has already been cooked, so it's not going to take very long to cook this up. But the thing is, you want it to simmer. I'm going to stir that up a little bit more. We got all of our flavors mixed. My wife is going to eat some of this at some point in time. If she wasn't, I'd poured a little bit of beer in this. But my wife is not somebody who appreciates me putting alcohol in something. even though it burns out when you cook it. It's like a rum cake or anything else. Anyway, she saw in the video me dumping a bottle of beer in there. She would have her a little fit. Why you done that for? As far as I know, she had one drink in her life, and I tricked her into that many, many, many years ago. Told you we've been married 39 years. And she didn't appreciate that one bit, but I was young, stupid, didn't realize it. So, people have principles they live by. And I shouldn't have done that. As an adult, you realize, hey, as you get older, you realize some of that stuff really wasn't that funny. When people don't want to do something like that, you don't introduce them to something like that. That'd be like me putting some kind of drug or something in somebody's drink or something. Obviously it wasn't that serious, but you still don't mess with someone else's food. They need to know that their food's safe and their drink is safe. So that was one of the boo-boos I made growing up, by putting a little bit of alcohol in something when I knew she wouldn't like it, wouldn't want it. She thought it was just lemonade or something, and I gave her a drink of it and then told her what it was. Like I said, she didn't appreciate that, and I was definitely in the wrong. Okay, so we're gonna let that on. I'm gonna stir it every once in a while. That lid didn't fit just perfect, but it'll sit over it. That's the lid I use on my skillet. So I was wondering if I was going to have to find me another lid for that pot, but I didn't. So we're going to go that route there. So this is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause it, and we'll get back with you when it's done. And look here what I got to go with it. Either kind you like. I like cornbread, chili poured over cornbread too. But Fritos is the way to go, really. So anyway, I'm going to clean this up and stuff, and we'll get back with you. All right, guys, I think it's been about 30 or 40 minutes. So I think we're ready. Simmered. All right. We're going to dip some of this up, and we're going to give her a try. What do you think? Now, one thing, if I continue to do this, I'm going to need to bring me a dipper. Sure am. I'm going to need to bring me a dipper. Put that on there. Boy, it looks good. I don't want to spill it. I'm going to take it over to the table, and we're going to try her out. What do you think? Take my Fritos with us. All righty, guys, here we are. Boy, I tell you what. See if I can get y'all a better look at that. Don't that look good? Let's give her a taste here. You got a little bit of everything in there. Well, that's good. That's good right there. We're going to put it a little. That wind's picking up. I think we may get a storm blow in. I'm going to put a little bit of each in there. What do you think? Show y'all a little trick I learned when it comes to closing up bags. Keeps you from having to have those clips. Now, I didn't learn this. I didn't invent this or come up with that idea. But see how that's closed up? Somebody else came up with that a long time, because I've seen it going around for a while. But if you haven't seen it, I'll do it for you one more time. Fold this one in, fold this one in. Try to get as close to your chip down here as you can get, and then roll it back towards you. Or you can turn it around and roll it the other way. And grab the corners and roll them back into each other. And that way, you don't need those little plastic clips left for you to carry around. Alright, we'll mix all that in there and give her a whirl that way. Now, a lot of times, if I'm at home, I don't carry a lot of dairy products with me. because the least items you carry that'll spoil or something out here in this heat and stuff, better off you are. It would be terrible to realize you had a gallon of milk when it spoiled on you. But at home, sometimes I'll pour a little milk in my chili, or I'll put a little sour cream in my chili. Cheese, I add a little cheese sometimes. Uh, my wife found some kind of sweet jalapeno peppers. I'll have to get the name of those for y'all because that's really good on a lot of things, salads or anything else. And I'll add some of the juice and some of those in here. But anyway, for leftover meatloaf, we got this bowl of chili here. Let me give me another bite of that with all the deals in there. Look at that. Woo! Guys, look at that. Man. Guys, I can tell you that's good. That's got all the flavor in the world. Unlike my meatloaf, it was good, but it didn't have near the flavor it should have had because I had too much meat for the amount of seasonings I had. But that right there, I'm telling you, that's good. Guys, I sure hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoy the scenery out here. You need to get out here and enjoy it if you get an opportunity. If you like my video, hit like. If you want to see some more of them, hit subscribe. Ring that bell just in case another one comes up. You miss it, it'll tell you when it's ready. I've actually got people waiting on my videos now. Our little channel's starting to grow. I'm getting some comments, getting good ideas, good feedback. And I appreciate that. I can't do it without you guys building my little channel, but gives me something to do. Find your knack. Get out and do something. You don't got to make videos of it, but get out and do something. Enjoy your life. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you down the road.